looking live at Tel Aviv, Israel, where at least 8 people were killed and dozens were injured in an early morning missile attack from Iran. In just 4 days of fighting, Iran has launched over 300 missiles towards the Jewish state. Many of them have targeted major civilian areas. We know a 5-year-old was lost. There was a Holocaust survivor targeting civilian areas. Let that sink in. Now, dramatic video captured the moment of impact in Tel Aviv just this morning. Well, hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-hosts Emily Campagno and Harris Faulkner. Also joining us, Nicole Parker, Fox News contributor and former FBI special agent, and Jeremy Hunt, Veterans on Duty chairman and former Army intelligence captain. But first, let's go live to Mike Tobin, who's in Tel Aviv. What's going on, Mike?
Well, Kayleigh, I can tell you that Tel Aviv, usually a bustling city, is relatively quiet right now as most people are electing to stay home close to their bomb shelters in anticipation of another evening of ballistic missile attacks from Iran. As you mentioned, 8 people were killed by the most recent attacks here in Israel. Hundreds have been injured, and rescuers are still on the scene of some of the strike sites, combing through the rubble with the potential of finding survivors trapped in the rubble. Now, the damage from the strikes includes the U.S. consulate just a short distance from where I am here in Tel Aviv. The U.S. ambassador, Mike Huckabee, says the damage to the consulate was minor. No personnel were injured. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu toured the Tal Naf air base in central Israel. He boasted to troops that Israel has destroyed Iran's air defenses and fighter jets can operate at will from western Iran to Tehran.
The Israeli Air Force controls the skies over Tehran. This changes the entire campaign. We are on the way to achieving our 2 goals, eliminating the nuclear threat and eliminating the missile threat.
Israeli warplanes are not letting up in Iran. Just today, 20 surface-to-surface missiles were destroyed moments before they were launched, according to the IDF. Also today, we have satellite imagery before and after. Significant missile production and nuclear facilities were struck. Most significantly, the well-known Natanz nuclear plant shows destruction from Israeli bombs. The IDF also claims warplanes have destroyed 1/3 of Iran's missile launchers and their missile launching capability. Kayleigh?
Thank you, Mike. Keep us updated. Now, President Trump is revealing where exactly the United States stands in the conflict between Israel and Iran. During an interview with ABC News, Trump reiterated that the U.S. is not currently involved, but he did say, quote, "It's possible we could get involved." President Trump was asked about that reporting last hour and some additional reporting that came from the Wall Street Journal. Here's what he said.
What would it take for the U.S. to get involved in this conflict militarily?
I don't want to talk about that.
What material support and what intelligence support are you providing Israel?
We've always supported Israel. We have for a long period of time, strongly. And Israel's doing very well right now.
Meanwhile, U.S. officials are telling Fox News that President Trump blocked an Israeli plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader, despite Iran's repeated attempts to assassinate President Trump in just the past year. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claims President Trump is Iran's top target in the world. Here's what he told Brett Baer on Special Reports.
You just said Iran tried to assassinate President Trump twice. Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes, they want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number 1. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He made it very clear, including now, you cannot have a nuclear weapon, which means you cannot enrich. He's been very forceful. So for them, he's enemy number 1.
So, Jeremy, I want to lay out where we are. Last night, there were some U.S. assets that all began moving east. I was closely tracking them on these national security accounts. There's been a ton of reporting that has come out, and we can now confirm, this is Liz Frieden, our producer, the U.S. Air Force is moving a large number of refueling tanker aircrafts to Europe in order to be closer to the Middle East. A U.S. official confirmed this to Fox News. This will provide, this is key, this was being reported by Reuters. Now we can confirm more options for President Trump. A lot of people asking what those options are. Could be supporting Israel defensively. Could be something greater. I want to pull up a picture of Fort Dow. This is the nuclear site that's been much discussed. Those nuclear weapons buried about a half-mile down. Israel lacks the capability to take them out without U.S. bunker busters. So the question is this among the options?
Perhaps, and I think it's great how President Trump is laying out all the options there, so that we have freedom to decide how we want to, what involvement looks like. I'll say this: Israel is doing a great service for the United States. I mean,
without question.
Iran is the leading state sponsor of terrorism. They export their radical ideology all around the world. They have their proxies that have attacked American troops. They chant death to America. They've had apparently assassination attempts on President Trump's life. I mean, they hate us. They hate what we stand for. And so for Israel to be in a position where they're weakening that regime, this is a good day for America. And so I think it's important that President Trump is looking at all those options. Look, I'll say, just as an intel officer, it is remarkable what Israel has done. I mean, you look at the drone facility that they had within the border of Iran, and were able to unleash all these drones to attack Iran's air defense assets. I mean, truly, it took years to do that. Very similar to what we saw in Ukraine, for example, where Ukraine used the same kind of idea, where this operation had drones all in Russia, literally attacking their assets. This is a remarkable feat, and I think Israel should be applauded for that, and America should support in a way that is best for our interests. And I think there's a clear case to be made there.
About an hour and a half ago, the Wall Street Journal reported this: a battered Iran signals it wants to de-escalate hostilities with Israel and negotiate. Messages passed by Tehran through intermediaries seek a return to talks if the U.S. stays out of the fight. It bears mentioning they were given 60 days to negotiate. They didn't do that. Some would argue they've been given decades to negotiate. Instead, they shouted death to America. During the Faulkner Focus, President Trump was asked directly about that report. Let's listen to what he said. Hey, Harris, we don't have it, but I do have it written here. They like to talk, but they should have done that before. They should have done that before. They should have spoken immediately. But at the back end, he said they should speak with us now.
Yeah, he said, look, they had 60 days. I waited until the 60th day to pull that. And he did say now is the time, because they're out of time at this point. He said Iran is not winning this war. And you were asking before about what our involvement could look like. We're already involved with intelligence. I mean, he's talked about it. Others have talked about it. But the aspect of us going in, the president was asked about in that news conference. He said, I'm not going to talk about that right now. And we might have gotten more from him had the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, not thought that it was his birthday today and that he could get away with cutting off the president of the United States with every reporter asking about that situation and him making world news. So he might have gone on about this. He did mention an Iranian friend who has not come out to help, and that's Putin. And he said, would have been good to have a G8 with perhaps Putin back in there. Well, I'm thinking big picture. Yeah, you could have talked with him about potentially being part of an equation at this point, because you're looking for all players. I don't think Putin's going to help Iran any other way unless it's at a table. Certainly not going to fight for them. He doesn't even fight for his own people.
No, he does not. Of that we know. All right, well, we're getting stunning new video. Iran state media was live on air. You won't believe this. I couldn't believe it when I watched it. Live on air. This is Iranian state media. And then Israel hits. Watch this.
فضای غبارآلوده استادیوم.
I mean, Emily, if you didn't think Iran was on their heels, apparently they are.
A terrifyingly visceral clip to watch. Right? And especially, look, that's a human that we're watching there. But the reality is a lot of humans in Iran are being suffocated and held at the hands of the Islamic Republic.